All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? Now, I apologize if it's a little dark because I still have a ring light and it's getting late with me. So I haven't even shaved. I was waiting for a Sunday morning show. So we got a lot going on. First off, thank you guys very much for joining me on this first live show. Thank you for joining me on this channel and following me and everything like that. I'm going to be live up until lock. Currently, right now, we're still getting the qualifying order. So while that is still going on, let's discuss the things that we need to be aware of really fast. Also, I'm looking at several different things here. I want to make sure I can hear myself. I'm going through. So let me just make sure of that. Why is my audio so poor? What is going on here? Oh no, what's going on? Snowball, that's take off echo and noise cancellation. Let me try that. Oh, that's way better. At least it sounds way better on my end. Make sure. Oh no. Okay, whatever. That sounds better on my end. I'm trying out Restream because we're already paying for it and I need to get stuff done. I don't really want to use OBS unless I have to. Anyway, so we have several things going on in this instance. So clearly we have the end of qualifying coming through. We have a situation where we're probably going to have a ton of overlay, or at least some amount of overlay, and a way to build projections. And so really the situation we're running into is that, and I realized I had the fucking snowball pointed the wrong way. The thing that we're running into is a lot of the stuff entering this weekend that we were talking about is just thrown out the window. You picked it up and threw it out. It doesn't matter anymore because we're not doing our heat races. So just by that, the qualifying nature of this event is completely changed in terms of where people are starting, where they're not starting. Typically, it's the winners from the heat races 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we identified that we wanted to focus on 9 through 16th. Well, now that's not necessarily the case. Now they're going to line up as the fastest cars. If anything, that would look and that would lean me towards trusting playing more guys up front and less place differential because the guys who are up front are the fast cars. And they're not having, like, the fast cars aren't being stuck between 9th and 16th like we originally thought. And so if we're using old race data or old race stuff to have an idea of how to go across this race, that's an issue. Secondly, let's see where we're at right now. So we have an hour until, and we're probably going to see where it's at in an hour. As I said, I don't really want to play a lot of lineups in this race. So right now I'm just doing 8 because that's going to be really all I can handle of building my own stuff, building the projections and everything, and still talking to you guys in about 50 minutes and stuff like that. As we look through, as we get to the end of qualifying, and I'm not entirely like worried about not listening to qualifying specifically. I think there's other things I want to look at. First off, thank you, AD, for also having his stuff up because he's pulling things as well. We'll talk about all the practice laps together and then just the first session. So when we look at just the first session, the first group of qualifying, these are how the drivers ended up playing out. No surprise, like the big names or like smart guys are up front. I'm trying to look at this in the sense of, not looking at Joey Logano, Byron. This is like Mr. Red, Mr. Yellow, Mr. Orange. Names don't matter. We're just trying to understand where these guys are falling in. So whenever I say, hey, Byron's doing well, that's not leaning on, well, Hendrick should have been well entering this race. I'm looking specifically at what we're finding in practice data. And we're not finding a lot of bums here. Jones, Haley, clearly. But a lot of the fast guys are taking up a majority, or the guys that we would expect are taking up a majority of these laps, specifically in practice number 2, because this first one I had to remove the first laps because those were slow. Even lap 2, just because it's the first time these guys are on the track. We see a majority of the faster laps coming from later in these sessions when guys are actually comfortable, when they're understanding what their cars are doing and stuff. And so, like, for example, when we look at, like, Kyle Busch or like even like Chastain, Bubba Wallace, Larson, we're like, why is Larson 13th fastest on average in the first group? Well, that's because, he got killed by a lot of his laps early, whereas he's one of the fastest cars later in the session. When we look at practice 2, we're seeing that. We're seeing improvement from, Bubba Wallace. We're seeing improvement from, I believe Reddick is up here as well. I also just imported a lot of the stuff, so I haven't necessarily gone through all of it. Reddick is 27th and stuff. But yet again, same thing. All these laps are coming late in the run. And so That's why we're seeing a lot of these guys debating going out and qualifying right now on scuffs versus using new tires and stuff like that, because we're seeing that a lot of these laps are coming later in the session, 13, 14, 15, 16 laps into a run, which is like 2, 3, 4 minutes in, right where they're at in qualifying. And so qualifying should be a pretty good indicator of where these guys are in terms of speed. When we look at all the practice laps together, and this is all the ones that I pulled, and we should be at 1080p. So we should be able to see this stuff. It's still not exactly 1080p. OBS streams a bit better, but you can at least read it. Might do OBS continuing on. I'm only doing this because Sheets may or may not join us. But I'm only looking at the averages of the fastest laps, so I'm removing a lot of these slower laps, and this is technically how they fell in line. We see Hamlin, Bell, Byron, Logano, Chastain, Kyle Busch, Reddick, Stenhouse, Elliott, Blaney, Jones is your fastest guys. Haley is just surviving based on his fast laps throughout here. Like, he's actually showing good speed. I'm using lap time or lap speeds over 62.5 miles per hour average lap speed. I think that's removing a lot of in traffic stuff. A lot of these, like, I'm looking specifically at the fast laps here. If we were looking at the whole field racing here, well, then yes, we would include, slower lap times and stuff. But I want to look specifically at who is running fast laps, because that is going to be a good projection of who I think where they should end up qualifying, where they should end up running in the race, and yada, yada, yada. So we're going over quite a lot. Yet again, I'm going to build my projections here. Where are we at right now? We got 57 minutes until lock. Real fast. You don't really have to download it at this point. I'm kind of killing time for them to finalize the starting grid. I'm trying to just go over everything. Yet again, like, RotoGrinders isn't going to update their plugin because I don't remember her name. But the woman who made the plugin is no longer with them, so like they're not going to update this stuff. But this is a great tool if you do want to see overlay. It seems like they pushed it back. I could have swore I just saw a couple minutes on this last one. Anyway, so we're currently right now 42% overlay in this one. I don't know where it's going to be in the 33 if you guys are more of high players. Not sure which one. I would personally stay away from the 5. Let's get all this stuff off. Like the 5, I'm not interested in this. It's too small. That'll probably end up filling up. The 3 max probably end up filling up. The main ones that are going to carry the ownership will be the 10, or the overlay will be the 10, the 4, and the 1. That's why specifically I'm playing those. Let's deal with the ownership. Kind of the same thing. Like earlier today, like I was just looking and I was like, bro, man, there's ownership in like the $10 CSGO. We're just playing whatever overlay we can get. It doesn't matter. That's what we're primarily focusing on in this situation, as Hamlin's on track right now. If you guys have any questions, drop them in right now before we really got to go in the crunch. I'm going to I'll build my projections, upload them to the site. I'll probably run SaberSim on here as well to try and get an idea of where lineups are going to go. We're probably going to see chalk lineup, or chalk plays rather, probably carry a little bit more ownership than they should, just due to all this type of stuff. Everything that I mentioned last week is just kind of expedited or increased now with them running everything tonight. And that's just kind of where we're at. We're kind of just waiting to finalize this stuff. And how many we got here? 78 of you guys. I believe we've already broken the TrueDFS live stream record. So I do appreciate that. Thank you guys for being here early in the season. Thank you, Alex, for wanting to join during the 500. I'm glad we got the audio squared away. Happy to have you here, Triple J. Thank you for being here, Jeff. Okay, let's see. No questions so far. Is there anything specific that you guys want to see as I kind of go through? It's very difficult to kind of cut through all the sessions and stuff. But as I said, and when we're looking at the faster laps these guys are running, I need to actually do this. Hold on. Let's freeze both of these here, and then we can kind of look through and who's running fast laps. Where are we at, buddy boys? So the first session, late in the run, hey, Hamlin top of the board. What a surprise. We're kind of seeing that from the practice data. I think the practice data, truly, honestly, like, especially the way they're doing it here with limited fucking changes in the setup, limited stuff going on, I think practice data will pretty much support Q and support the race. That's really what I'm leaning more towards. We're seeing Hamlin consistent late in the run, like 23 laps in, like 3-4 minutes into a practice session. But Hamlin's carrying speed. We're seeing Bell carrying the speed. We're seeing Larson carrying speed. Same thing with Bubba. We have Kyle Busch late in the race. I'm primarily looking here kind of towards their last like 10, 15 laps in both of these sessions. That's primarily what I'm looking for. And I don't think we've really seen anything too crazy here. Second one, everybody went back out. Kind of the same thing. Guys who ran, like Burton, we all know he only ran a few laps, and he was just slow. I doubt he's going to even make the race. We need to worry about that. But Hendrick, Reddick, even McDowell, probably these 21s are probably in the pits. So I'm not going to consider those. We're looking mainly for like 13-second lap times and fast 13-second lap times at this point. I'm going to take a look at good old Josh Williams. Pretty slow in P2 and pretty slow in P number 1. He's currently 16. So this is another thing is we kind of get into this here, and I look towards the back of the field like Nemechek, currently with what they're running at, like Nemechek, Williams, these types of plays. I'm going to be very, very I'm not going to be very high on them. I'm not going to project them to really pass through the field. Like, for example, like Hamlin, Logano, Busch, Byron, Chastain, Larson, Reddick will probably be the guys that I kind of focus on when I'm probably projecting. Like when we look at Haley specifically, he was one of the fastest guys in P1. Like right off the bat, like Haley's actually doing well here. When we look back at years past, this is where like looking back at years past is actually important. When like Presource was originally in this car, like he had decent speed when they set things up, and Haley had one of the faster times in this first session. I think he was one of the fastest cars out in his group. Ends up being, when we look at averages here, ends up being the 6th fastest guy. And P number 2, still showing top 11 speed. Like this is a situation where like we're currently kind of expecting him to start probably like top 10 and stuff. You got to kind of expect him to run there all day. Moving up into the top 5 going to be difficult for him. I don't really see him moving back a ton. So his projection would probably fall anywhere between 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. But like him, Williams, guys that might be like, where are they coming from? Why is he qualifying so well? Well, I mean, they're showing decent speed. It's not insane. Did we get Q done? Let's see if we have updated Q. We have not. What else you guys got? Yet again, 73 you guys here. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for showing up and stuff. We got a whole 58 minutes until lock. I'm not going to probably build my lines until probably 15 minutes to go. We're going to try and I want to do 2 things here. So one is going to be depending on how fast SaberSim updates, because I want to run stuff with what SaberSim builds. I want to run stuff with where I build. I want to see where I'm different on, and I'm probably going to lean towards my own projections. I just want to see how drastically different they are, and if they're completely drastically different, that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. But that's going to be the main focal point of when I get the projections in and where they're going to be from there. And you can see that I'll probably just do them here, and I do most things manually for the most part. Like when we're looking at laps led, we're looking for a grand total of 150. Clearly, we're probably going to have at least 120 to 134 fast laps in place. So I'll probably use 130 fast laps in these projections, clearly using only the top 23. Well, I mean, Saber, yeah, they don't run. Yeah, like, look, man, I have no issue with SaberSim. I know it seems like I have an issue with them. I don't. I use them and stuff. But like, yet again, guys, that's how it is. When you get crunch things like this, these big optimizers, these big sites and stuff, they can't catch up, man. We've had Fantasy Cruncher not have players in the pool. We've had situations like that. So we're not going to be running sims, but we're going to be running projections. Unless SaberSim said we're just not doing projections, well, then I don't know really what to say there. But this actually, I should probably keep this in case I fuck up. I need to do that when we actually have everyone. But you're just going to see me kind of how I go through. I was originally going to do this under the premium video today, but clearly we're here. And let's get everything finalized. Is anybody else live right now? Am I the only guy live talking NASCAR right now? I can't imagine anybody else going live. I know Maccabee or Jordan said he wasn't going to do it. I know Phil wasn't going to do one. I don't have time to look, but I doubt Stochastic and those guys are doing a live show right now. So this might be the only ones there. Let's see. This is from Brian from the back of the field, the back of the classroom. What do you think of what do you think of the farther starting back guys in cash versus cash? So yet again, this exhibition race is already drastically different compared to nearly everything else NASCAR does. With the way they're doing it now is even more insane. I'm personally going to lean to not playing a lot of place differential in this race. I was already leaning towards that entering this weekend with the traditional way they're going to set the grid. Now, with how it's going, I'm probably not going to be playing a lot of place differential. And that's probably going to be where I'm at. So at least Chris Pinnell is live. Too bad I can't really listen to him and see what they're doing. But hopefully we can try and predict what the field is going to do and stuff. Let's see where we are at here. I'd like to get everything finalized. Currently 55 minutes. But anyway, answering your question, I'm probably not going to focus on a lot of place differential. I think cash is going to be cash and just regular GPPs today. I'm probably going to focus on like 16, 17 on up, or the guys literally starting dead last. I'm very hesitant on getting place differential from like 16th to like 20th and stuff. Yeah, I'm happy to see Noah Gragson back. What's going on, Kyle? Thoughts on what? Man, they're still going. Bro, man. I don't know why they didn't just run a bigger group, man. We're just kind of twiddling our thumbs. Is there anything you guys want to just straight up, any questions? Now is the time. We're killing time. We're having fun together. Any questions you guys got? This is where we got to answer them. Because once that queue drops, once that grid is finalized, I'm going to just be kind of knee deep in the stuff, knee deep in the weeds and everything. And yeah, I can see your comments, Kay. Don't know who's going to be chalky yet. We don't have that. Until we start. Well, I mean, like, for example, we know Hamlin, Logano is going to be up there. I don't even know where Trix is right now because I've been goofing around. We still got 12 guys left or 2 groups left. So looking at the guys who are locked in at the moment, people that are like actually locked in. So we have Hamlin, who group 1 laps I'm looking at, 7th fastest on average. 8th fastest on average, group number 2. Practice laps all over the place. Or looking at the fastest lap specifically, Hamlin was the fastest car in practice. We see him top of the line or top of the grid in queue at the moment. When we look at Logano, like Hamlin, hey, Hamlin's looking pretty good. Hey, man, Logano's looking pretty good. I guess I'll go through the grid at the moment as we kind of wait for these guys to finish here. So Logano fastest in P1. Logano did very few laps in practice number 2, so technically at the bottom of the field here, although this is, I believe, every lap. So this, like, just 25 is bringing him down. Really don't have time to go through each of these laps to look at it. Let's move his laps. Let's actually get rid of his laps and just see kind of where he's at. Move this one. Let's see where he lines up with. Actually, that's probably what I need to do since I do have time to get through here. Oh, man, I don't really want to remove all the 14 laps, but all these are like the first laps they ran. I think it's fine removing these. Certainly the 16s. Get rid of the 15s as well. We'll just get rid of all this whole first lap here. Doesn't even matter. We're looking at the end of the race anyway. We're looking at the end of practice anyway. Because if I do that, we're probably going to see, when I start ranking these guys again, we're going to see Logano jump up again to where he has the fastest lap. But I have not accurately removed everybody's laps. But realistically, we understand that Logano is probably going to be top 5 at speed in this race. Have a good chance of knocking off fast laps. Let's try and get rid of these late laps in the 15s and everybody's last lap. This is when they're off the brake, exiting the track. These 14s are just slow. Any other? Missing the 17 here. So this is typically what I do anyway whenever we have Q. I go through laps and remove them. I look at the laps I specifically want. Yet again, thank you, AD, for pulling this data. Abnormally distributed on Twitter. Guy who actually knows what he's talking about. Thank you for saving me time here. All right, so let's see where we're at here. So Logano, Hamlin still fastest. Hey, they're 1 and 2 right now. Okay, so that lines up well. Let's see where Gibbs is at. We're gonna practice. So like, yet again, man, who gives a flying fuck about previous races, man? It's lining up just for practice laps here. See, Gillen came in. The track might actually be getting faster for these guys as well. I haven't been able to really pay attention to the amount of rubber being put down, but that is another thing that might be happening. Although, like more so for like the guys who are just slow as fuck anyway, not necessarily the guys. Like nobody's gonna knock Hamlin or Logano off, I believe. All right, so now that we've updated, let's get rid of these 14s. All right. Who is this? Barry? Barry's just slow. I can't remember. Like, that's just actual speed laps, man. This guy's actually horrible. Growl is slow. All right. Let's reorganize this. So Ty Gibbs showing speed. Very similar to where he's qualifying. Looking like, I mean, man, looking through. This 25 is knocking him down. That was actually the slowest one on track. Let's see where Bowman knocks up to. 14.3. Man, I don't got time to blow through all these bad laps. But I would argue that Bowman's very middle of the pack here. He's running very, very slow laps to start his sessions at. And these are not necessarily. What is this at? It's not Bowman. See, average 13.7. That's not. 13.7's putting him around 6-7 on those laps I'm looking at. So Bowman backing up where he's starting. Kyle Busch kind of backing up. Actually, that's one thing I can probably do. Let's just look at these laps. Look at these final laps here, man. That's a 13.6. It's probably too fast, not including that. That 13.6 is actually pretty fast, though. That's a lot. Kyle Busch actually has pretty decent speed late in the run here. When we compare him to, like, say Hamlin, 13.6, very similar times with Kyle Busch to Hamlin. So I kind of keep going through this. I'm going to try and get through as many before we get this thing finished, because I'm a little bit back, because I don't got cable. I stream my streams on websites I don't pay for, so I'm like a minute 30 behind real television. Where's Byron at? Byron's got real speed. See where Chastain kind of lines up here. So we got rid of that 14, 13.6. Look at all these laps together. Well, damn. Secondly, I guess just looking at all the lap times, I guess I already did this. I don't necessarily need to cut through all the bad laps because I already sorted by those on this one. So Hamlin, Bell, Briscoe, Byron, Logano. Yeah, bro, I'm going off of practice laps. That's what I'm going to project off of. That's where I'm at. Let's see. 780 you guys here. Thank you very much. Let's see. How are you building lines? Probably chasing the front. DNF rate here, ACS. Let me go and bring up racing. Oh, fuck. I don't want to die. Let's see. I already have them here. So DNF rate. I don't have them finishing, actually. I don't have the guys who got wrecked out. I cannot answer the DNF percentage at the moment. ASC. I can't imagine that it would be a lot. Probably average like 4 to 7 guys. Most overlay I've ever seen. Yeah, we're probably going to get there. Now, this is where I'm at. Very quick round on overlay. I think I've gotten fucked chasing overlay a lot. This is insane, man. I mean, this is basically a 50-50 at this point. I mean, I'll tell you right now, we're not going to get our DraftKings rewards back. That's for fucking sure, man. If you didn't think we were going to get better DraftKings rewards before this, it's not coming back now because, ladies and gentlemen, this is all our DraftKings rewards. This is all the Dynasty rewards. It's being thrown in this overlay. We're never going to get Dynasty rewards back, but that's a ton of overlay. Building like prior racers, like your videos, or that changes. No, I'm building off of this. Building off of this, we have, we're gonna have about 30 minutes when I get done building projections to build here. No core to the TrueDFS site. It is just whatever's on there. I'm basically giving my projections because that's really what a lot of people have wanted. I understand. I know what there was. I'll say between my older users or my older subscribers and stuff, it was around 20 to 30%, like using the PDF, the color coordination, the cores and all that. The other percentage primarily just used the projections. When I came over to TrueDFS, I decided to lean more into that. I will answer your stuff. And typically outside of like shorter time frame stuff like this, I would like talk more about cores, but we got to focus primarily on projections and stuff at this point. Yeah, dude, I'm just not gonna have more. I'm not gonna have enough time to do more than 8 lines, man. I think if you fuck, this is gonna be so fucking difficult if we were gonna enter a lot, because I wouldn't want to trust 150 lines unless I was running my own shit. I really don't want to dig into this. I don't really have money to burn, man. I'm really just trying to focus saving on this for Daytona. I certainly don't want to redeposit and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna roll with 120 tonight. $120 on the line. Thank you for calling me the GOAT. You like Josh Williams or no? I don't believe so. What's going on, Chan? Thank you for being here. Currently looking at 79 of you guys in the stream. Thank you very much. Let's start trying to get this lineup in and build stuff. So we have, I'm hoping that, where are we at? I am going to borrow abnormally distribute. I'm going to have to check to make sure this is correct. Normally I do this manually, but we are on a time crunch and we need to copy and paste and put all this stuff in there. So let's, I need to see Bob Pockers. I need to see the official starting lineup. I'm going to roll with this because this is what he's pulling. What does Phil have? Phil has the exact same. So that's Hamlin, Logano, Ty Gibbs. Got to make sure Bowman, actually, I need to do this. Kyle Busch, Byron. That's correct. I need to make sure the salary is correct as well. 5. Actually, we'll just do it this way. Chastain, Larson, Wallace, Haley, Reddick, Priest, Keselowski, Elliott, McDowell, Todd Gilliland, Noah Gregson, Corey LaJoy, Todd Gilliland, Noah Gregson. And forgive me that I'm having to do this for any of you guys, but I just want to make sure I'm correct here. Check sources. Okay, that's right. Salaries. 97, 94, 75, 8, 95, 99, 87, 10, 4, 76, 6, 86, 78, 85, 9, 64, 52, 65, 102, 61, 10,000. What is the average here? Average is very, very expensive. $8,000 on average here. So now that that's there, I'm going to pull, I'm going to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be building the projections. I'm going to build it with you guys. This is the first show. I'm going to show you how I do stuff because I am a brain builder. I build manually. So what I'm going to do is on my left screen here, I'm going to be looking at the practice stuff. On this screen, I'm going to be building stuff, and we're going to see the total DraftKings points. And then I'm going to upload this to TrueDFS, and you guys can get it from there. I'm kind of showing more here because, special event, circumstances, everything like that. I'm just going to have that up. Let me see what you guys have. Any questions before I start going through this? All right, no real questions, just kind of comments. What's going on, Sterling? Happy to have you here. So let's start going through. I'm going to mute the NASCAR stream. So if somebody runs over somebody's dog, let me know. Let me just make sure I got 41. Okay. All right. Let's start building projections, boys. So when we look at Hamlin, we've kind of gone over, I fully believe, fully believe looking at P1, Hamlin. All right, let's do this together. Top 9, fastest, practice laps, fastest. Got to project him for a top 3 finish. So we're just going to hold him. I either drop him to second, drop him to first. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to hold him for the win. Logano, going to have him finishing second as well. Tied, because from kind of as we went through this earlier, these guys probably have the best case scenario of running top 5 all day. No reason to really change it. Doesn't. But Brandon, you should project Logano to finish first. It doesn't matter. That's. I might build projections, but even then, I'm like that's not necessarily. That's splitting hairs very much so, because one of those guys, if these two guys flip positions, I mean, yeah, sure, that's the 3 extra points flipping between them, but fast laps that I'm not really concerned about that. Those guys should be the primary lap leaders. When we look at Ty Gibbs here, should be able to maintain a running position inside the top 8. I find that hard to believe that he doesn't do that. We're going to move him down to probably 7th. Okay, we're looking at Bowman here, and this is just kind of what I do. I'm having to work a little faster than I really want to, but man, this is really what it turns down to. Bowman's a bit concerning here. Bowman is the first guy I'm kind of run into. Let's see the Q laps real fast. When did he get that fast lap? I want to try and get this done within the next 10 minutes. We have 30 minutes to stick around and look at stuff. He's running 13.6s, 13.6s. See, 13.3, his first lap. His first lap was a 13.3, fell off. 13.3 to a 13.44, 13.4, 13.4, 13.4, 13.5. Bowman did fall off in the last run. Very similar to what he was doing in his practice sessions out. First guy that we're kind of concerned about maintaining a running position. I got to keep checking here. Probably slower than Gibbs, going to lower him 6 positions here. When we get to Kyle Busch, we kind of already know our opinions on him from going through stuff in the practice data already and looking through stuff. Contending there. Going to keep him 5th. When we look at William Byron, we're not looking at fast laps or anything just yet. We are just primarily looking at where these guys are projected to finish in terms of positions here. Starting outside, going to get stuck on the outside, at least to start the race, but I think we can look at him finishing top 5. Chastain. You guys might also be like, man, why the fuck are you showing all this? What are you doing here? Why are you doing all this? Well, I'm here at TrueDFS. We kind of talk about transparent stuff, and Sheets nearly always kind of goes over how he does stuff. So I figured I'm kind of gonna do the same thing. I give him 1. Main thing to look at is where these guys are going to stack up primarily. Yet again, we're looking for over 38 points, as we discussed early in the week. Want guys who can score near or around 38 points. Our primary goal is to try and land as many top 12 scorers as possible here. That is the main goal. That'll mainly come from finishing position, but where they come from and stuff. So like we're gonna be like separating like 1, 2, 3 points. That I'm not too concerned about it. We're gonna explain that more as we get through where I'm at. Like 36 minutes. Okay, we got time. Wallace here. 7, 11. Haley. Reddick. And you can see that like already my night will be determined. My night is already determined here. If I'm fucking up doing the projections and looking at everything here, then it's all toast. It doesn't even matter how I build, man. If I approach this the wrong way, the night is already toast. And then I'm affecting myself. I'm affecting everybody who's already running this stuff and doing this stuff, or running my stuff and using it. It's at this moment here that things can potentially just derail like crazy. And so hopefully that doesn't happen. Now, for those of you who have never seen my stuff before, used my stuff before, I haven't back tested by quite a lot of independent individuals, Stukas, Sheets, to name a few. AD, a couple other guys. I think Schroeder's also done, but I can't confirm that. And a lot of the times, yet again, that's kind of why I'm here, because I'm usually not usually too far off comparison with what's going on. I'll leave him at 13th. And one more, actually. So people might judge me for the way I do stuff, but it has certainly worked out for me. I've won contests before. Look for Chase Elliott. Where's Chase Elliott at? Still going through stuff here. So like Chase Elliott seems like a place differential play that I'd be comfortable with. McDowell, let's see. Where he at? McDowell, kind of right where he qualified. Gillen, pretty fast. Where are these fast laps coming from here? I got a notification on Discord. Almost done, boys, almost done. Then we can start running shit. Is that a little too much? 33. Keep it there. We are going to have probably some guys gain more position, more points, more place differential than others, but I'm going to build, or at least run projections like this. Gregson. I can't wait for this night to just be a fucking disaster and like everybody judge me off of everything I do from here. Corey, these guys are just fucking slow, man. Like these guys are actually slow. That's why they're qualifying back here. Truex will probably be one of the most popular plays today. I am going to look right now, 12 P1 on average, 22nd P2 on average. All practice laps together, 19th. Give him 8 place differential points. That's certainly going to put him on par with everybody else. But Truex is going to carry ownership. It looks like we are going to have around 30 minutes with projections. So I do apologize here as I run to finish stuff here. Stenhouse, I would actually prefer Stenhouse over Truex. We're going to keep him 5 points under Truex, but I would actually prefer Truex as I prefer Stenhouse over the pivot of Truex. Nemechek. I find it very hard to believe he actually does Dick here. Chase Briscoe had a very bad time in Q. Briscoe got moved late in the standings. Where's young Ryan Blaney at? 12. The fuck, dude? This guy is slow as molasses. This guy is actually fucking slow. All right, so we got that. Let's get this uploaded onto the site. Then we can start building lineups. So typically it should be uploaded pretty fast. Let me go to my, just get this up. Cup Series up to 23. All right, so that should update on the site. See how fast it goes. So if you go to the website, or if you're a member and stuff for like future weeks and stuff, if it'll load, because I got a lot of tabs open, and we are. Oh, that sheets of stuff. You'll see my stuff. Why is it only showing? Oh, yeah, the grid. Yeah, so the grid is currently up on the TrueDFS. So like future weeks, this is how you'll end up finding. Ah, shit, I didn't do the fucking fast laps. I got to do that. That's the one thing I did forget. So we're looking at this, and we look in comparison. Sorry, I got distracted. Laps led. We're looking at 3 primary lap leaders. I'm going to do 4 here. I'll update the. I will update. This is probably where I would probably fall into, actually. Move this down, move that down. We're at 95. The other guys looking at this really fast that I would look at to wearing or leading laps. It's probably going to be closer to 20. I'll project. Some of these can take the place of fast laps as well. I'm fine with that. This is typically how I do it as well. Fast laps will be spread out, however. We're going to see those primarily come from the front of the field. You got to give some of the guys up front some fast laps as well. But this is, I would actually prioritize where we at here. Looking for like 140. You got about 50 to play with. And then past this, other guys who would probably have one-off laps. Even back here, you have to project these guys to get some. Where are you at here? I'm going to roll with that. That's right where I want to be. So, who is messaging me? Don't they know I'm working? All right, let me update this. Then we'll be all good to go. So, I got Hamlin projected for 40, which doesn't necessarily matter. Let's make sure this is updated. Got 28 minutes. I'll be live for probably another 14. Let's get this here. Let's make sure that's there. Okay, so where I'm at. So, yeah, you might argue that, like, Brandon, 70 points is fucking insane for Hamlin. It's not the points that we're mattering. We're looking primarily at, or it's not the points that matter. It is when we are looking at this here, where are these guys falling in terms of highest scoring guys? How are we building? How are we trying to capture as many guys here as possible? So these are the primary people that I would focus on. Does Hamlin score 70? Well, I'm not sure he scores 70, but he has the highest likelihood of scoring over 38. Correct? That's what we're trying to chase. Now, I'm being a little aggressive because I have a lot of guys predicted for 38 because I'm not necessarily seeing guys fall through the field, but that's how I'm building. We're laying on roughly the same guys. Hey, entering this weekend, I was like, we're probably going to be building with pretty expensive guys based on the tightness of the race. What the fuck is this? We're probably going to be building with pretty expensive guys. Probably going to be building with guys who are going to be up front. Like, we're not going to have bums in the back of the field, correct? Am I wrong here? Is this the wrong stance? Hey, Truex might not score 42.7 points, Brandon. He might score closer to 56. Well, he's still going to be a top 8 scorer. He's still going to be here. He's still up here. This is why I love doing manual project, especially in a small field like this, because we're highlighting the guys that we want to focus on. So this is a situation where we're not, wow, what the fuck? Not even, they're not running projections. We're taking forever. Oh my Lord. So let's upload. Let's upload this into SaberSim. Nima check, where you at? Nima check. I need to check the chat to make sure I haven't fucked anything up yet. Oh man, I need to make sure. How do I? Is it automatically going to change? It should. Add weighted. Save projections. This is the one thing I didn't test yet. It should save those projections under the TrueDFS. If it's not, let me know. I'll make sure I'll fix it next time before something happens. All right, so lock at 558. So that's good. We gained a little bit of time. That's fine. Still going to be live for probably around another 13 minutes. What I'm going to do here, because I want this wide open, we're going to be like, I can't believe they didn't even fucking make project. None of the real fast. Give me a roundabout. What is Roto Grinders? What is Fantasy Cruncher? What are all these sites doing? That is the information that I want to see. Where are these guys at in terms of building lineups, in terms of projections? Let's build this. Look specifically at the builds that we're getting. Okay. This is not necessarily, does Hamlin score? I think personally, I'd probably expect Hamlin to probably score like 62, 61, 60 in that range. And Logano probably to score like 57, 58. But we're looking at the build. We're looking at how we're chasing guys and stuff like that. So let's see. Let's go through here. This is also where we win big marks. Lock at 58. You got hired for this. I don't think any. Thank you, Alexander. I feel like it's like imposter syndrome. I still feel like that idiot who's like, I just want to see Rex. We're going to kill people. And then I'm here like actually building shit for people. So I don't know. I always feel like I got to like explain and double explain and do all this that I do. And like I said, I'm sorry I'm in the dark here. We done building lines. We're still building. We got 24 minutes here. I'm doing two things here. I wish we had another ownership or another projection source to run against mine to see where we're at. Because at this point, I'm probably not projecting Truex for more or for what the public would be doing. But yet again, he's like top 6 scores. So what the fuck does it matter if I'm giving like, I don't know. That's just how my brain works. Like based on these projections, he's still going to be chalk. He's still going to be popular and stuff. We're just raw points. We're just trying to get raw points in here. 97 of you guys here. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, Pacific Pat. I do not project ownerships. Fantasy Cruncher got nothing. It's just you, bro. No, that's insane. Race sheet. So Phil did his stuff, so that's good. Osmo doesn't either. Okay. It's gonna be really bad if I'm wrong. But holy shit, why is the industry not doing their jobs? Are you for real? What's going on here? Guys, like I'm at least here, whether I'm right or wrong. I'm showing you the data that I'm looking at. I'm explaining why I'm projecting guys. Like, does this seem insane? Top five, racing top 5, potential top 5, top 6, racing fringe of top 6, maintain a rim position in the top 10. These guys back here. Dude, I don't know why. Like, I can't be on the phone right now. I'm working. I told these people I'm not working. Like, Truex going from 19th to what is that, 8th, finishing around 10th. Is that insane? These aren't crazy. I don't feel like I'm like building absolute like wild ass motherfucking lines. I don't feel like these projections are insane. I don't feel like they're crazy. 22 minutes left. Where are we at in terms of filling up these contests? Let me refresh real fast. Thank you, Clay. Okay, it's about 6,000. Oh my God, dude. Holy fuck. Massive overlay. So at this point, Simon top score. Where are we at? We're running first 86. I'm not looking at the drivers yet. I'm looking at, and I'm not saying I'm playing these lines because I still got to go through and build, but trying to jam in as many of the good plays from what I'm seeing or from my own stuff. We're using a lot of the salary. Yet remember, I left this wide open. I had it at like 35,000 to use, and it's wanting to jam in a lot of expensive guys, a lot of guys running up front and stuff. So first, for me, I would personally probably not leave like 5,000 on the table like we've been doing. 2, 3, I'd be fine with. But if I'm building with like, if you're building here with like 44, 45, 46,000, you got to hope guys up front are running the issues. You got to hope favorites like just run into absolute issues. So that's the first part. Yet again, my projections might not be as accurate in here, but we're running a time crunch. This should probably be higher. But how many lines is this actually? We have a total, where did my lines go? We have 5,000 lines. Okay, so 71% Hamlin, 52 Logano, first and second. Hey, that makes sense and stuff. Place differential plays coming through. Yet again, I'm saying Stenhouse is the exact same play as Truex, but we need to be aware that like I said, he probably scores close to like 46, 47, 48. It's going to be a very similar situation of him probably being anywhere from third to fourth. So in ownership, in terms of own, I got to keep checking this. I got about 5 minutes before I got to leave and get my stuff done. But we're using Byron. We're using, I didn't put the fucking starting positions in. Can I edit this? I can't. Can I upload? Fuck, I can't change that right now. I wish I could have seen that. Should have done that, so I can't see. But looking at, I gotta go over here because I can see this easier. Where's Gillen at? Gillen's coming through as the primary value play. Oh yeah, we don't have Austin Dillon here. So maybe not even Stenhouse as a pivot. You just need him in lineups to fill these like expensive guys out. That's why it's using Todd. That's why it's using Stenhouse. That's why it's using Nemechek in some of these, because look at the lines that it's building with Stenhouse. He's like the cheapest guy in these, right? He would be the cheapest. It's him and Gillen. It's him here. He's the value play. He's the value. So, Stenhouse will probably be carrying ownership here because you need to get in the 6K range to play these guys. Same thing with LaJoy. That's why they're kind of popping up. So, like, when we're looking at these lineups, we're seeing that the expensive guys, you're jamming them in, and then we're having to use, 1 or 2 value plays in the 6 and 5K range because that's the only value range we have. That's all we're working with. Okay? Regardless if Hamlin works, it's Hamlin or Truex, whatever. People are playing for Truex, still same thing. They're in the same situation where they're having to use the 6 and 5K range. And so when we're looking at that, has DraftKings updated who's in it or not? It'd be really easy to see, please. Yes. Okay. So yet again, same thing. As I said, entering this weekend, we're going to lose a majority of the value plays down here. That'll force the value plays to be in the 6K range. Who are the best looking 6K range guys? It's guys that are safer plays. It's guys that offer a little bit of place differential. That's Stenhouse. That's Nemechek over somebody like Gregson, over somebody like McDowell. We're most likely, or Gillen, if you need to go all the way down. Like Gillen, if you're paying up for everybody, that's why we're getting down here. So let's try and just get an idea of where people would go if they're chasing guys up front. So like you got your Truex. We're trying to figure out where people would end up going if they're building a lineup really fast. So it's like Truex, Hamlin, Logano. Oh, I need a value play. Where are my value plays? Oh, let's go here. Okay. Do I want the extra PD from Nemechek or the 200 from Stenhouse? That 200 might be important, might not be. For this example, we'll use just somebody who's wanting to chase place differential. We'll use Nemechek. That puts him back in the 7K range, leads him in a dead zone. This type of build leads a lot of people in a dead zone. A lot of these guys miss the event. That means probably Briscoe will be popular if people need a safe play in the 7 and 8K range if they're not chasing guys up front. So Briscoe would probably carry ownership here. Between the 8K range, it would probably be Wallace and Briscoe carrying ownership. Ty Gibbs would probably be the tournament play here, right? If you're not playing Truex and you think he struggles, well, then you would probably go and not be in the 10K range. You would probably, or you'd go like Larson. I'm not chasing place differential from Blaney. I think that these guys are pretty identical plays, so that's not necessarily talking about that build. So we're looking at Byron, Kyle Busch, who are carrying speed. So let's say we finish this here. We're in the 7Ks again. Yet again, you kind of land near Briscoe unless you're building drastically different. Okay, so now that we've looked here, we can kind of figure, oh, fuck, I got to go build lines. I'm running out of time here. Looking at where I think ownership will come in at, Truex for sure, Logano, Hamlin, maybe Blaney, not necessarily in this order, but looking at where these guys are at, we're probably going to see, let's clear all this up, where value is going to come from, or ownership is going to come from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would guess it's probably, and I'd guess those guys are probably going to be your ownership plays there. Yeah, we got around 17 minutes. So, yet again, guys, that's kind of how I'm going to primarily, I'll probably end up playing some of these lines. I got to look through and look really fast, but I'm going to primarily focus off of what my projections are showing me here, and probably go through and look at these lines and select the 8 that I want to play, and then just import those into DraftKings. So I'm looking at, I got 8 lines. I think I'm going to play 6 with Hamlin. Probably 4 or 5 of those will be Hamlin and Logano. I want to primarily focus on, I didn't add the starting positions on this one here. Let me do that really fast so we can yet again see where this is coming from. Do you guys like the stream? I feel like a concert goer. I feel like Paul Stanley. How you doing? How you guys liking the show? You guys like this? You guys not like this? Did you enjoy it? If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Consider joining the TrueDFS package, subscribing to the channel. If not, well, at least you had something to watch during this. Where are my top projected guys coming from? It is coming from this range. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my 13 guys in the top 10. Very quickly, we look at both years. I think that's fairly, it's not as extreme, but a lot of the bad guys are starting in the back. So that's primarily what I'm doing. I think I'm going to play guys up front, play as many guys up front. I'm going to be very hesitant on place differential from Blaney and Truex. I will come under the field on Truex and Blaney. I might flat out fade Truex and Blaney. That's probably my only real take there. We got 50 minutes to go, guys. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Hope it goes well. And thank you for being here and watching. And hopefully we all win some money. You guys have a fantastic evening. I'm going to let this go a little bit, because if I just end a cut off here, then it's just going to cut off. I'm going to let it go for like 30 more minutes. But I'm going to start building my lineup. So yet again, guys, thank you for joining me, being here. And thank you guys for getting me here. Glad to be here at TrueDFS. And okay, I'm going to end it now. So shouldn't cut anybody off. So I'll see you guys later. Best of luck. Oh my God, look at this overlay. Dude, it's like a fucking wet dream for gamblers, man. You guys have a good evening. See you guys.